So my journey in faith, I always grew up in church, and I was always part of our scripture union at school, and just had a really great relationship with Jesus, kind of the whole way through up until my levels. At that point, I studied religion there, and we were faced with a lot of kind of difficult questions. Does God exist? Like, why does evil exist? And there wasn't a lot of support around that for someone of such a young age, and through all that, I really lost my faith. And that at that time as well, like attending church at home, I started to see a real problem with what was being preached. Always sounded great, loving your neighbor, like helping one another, giving, like all the fundamental teachings of Jesus were never actually being acted out after that 1 hour slot on a Sunday, and just really just struck up a really sore spot with me, and through that time just totally lost my faith and relationship with Jesus. Yeah, and just during that time then I suffered a lot with depression and self-harm, and just I suppose just around a real emptiness in my life that I could never fill. So after I left school, I went to university to study journalism, and in my final year I felt that to get the best marks possible, I had to just really be as controversial as I could. And at that point, I kind of went back a little bit into my past and wanted to do an expose on the church. And at that point, I worked in Starbucks. I knew Alan and Catherine, who used to lead Causeway Coast Vineyard, and thought that would be a great opportunity to go in and expose a church. I had a link there. So because of the documentary, I really wanted to see as much as I could. So I went to a small group. I went to church on a Sunday. I went out with the guys on Healing on the Streets, and went along to some of the Vineyard Compassion elements. And through a combination of those things, I got to see Jesus moving and working in people's lives. And I can remember one of the nights at small group, after everyone had left, Jeff, the small group leader, had asked me to stay back, and he asked me at that point would I like to give my life to Jesus. And I can remember saying back to him, I don't think I'm ready, like I'm not good enough to do that. And his kind of challenge back to me was, if any of us waited till we were perfect, we would never ask Jesus to come into our lives, because he, when we're called to come to him broken, not perfect, because that's what he's there to do. He's there to come and to fix and help us. So I still left with that night without actually giving my life to Jesus, and it wasn't until I went home and I was sitting on my bed, and I think I was just reading through my Bible, and I can just remember this sense or feeling that I just really wanted to give my life to Jesus just there and then, and I just opened my heart again to God, and just give my life to Jesus. Yeah.
I grew up in traditional church, everything's just going every Sunday, Sunday school every Sunday morning, Bible club, and it's just normal childhood. But during that time, I never actually had a relationship with God. I think, I was going because I had to, and mum and dad was saying I had to go to church. So when I got, confirmation stuff out of the way, into high school, I just stopped going to church completely, had a relationship, considered myself atheist, no belief whatsoever. It wasn't until actually Ryan started going to CC first that I actually heard, start was a shock, because Ryan wasn't, Christian at all, and it just wasn't our thing, as we said. So I started going with Ryan, just support Ryan for a few weeks. And I remember everything was so different, like the way people worshipped and stuff was just different from traditional church. And then there's one service a few weeks in, and I remember Trey was speaking, and he said that sometimes God's not always in front of you, maybe sometimes he's behind you, giving you a little push. And I remember I came to prayer, and I remember looking around, and everybody was just so, like, they looked like they believed so much, and they loved Jesus uncontrollably. And I remember praying, I was like, I wish I could believe like this. I wish I could love Jesus uncontrollably. I don't feel like that at all. And after that, there was a lady sitting directly behind me, and during this point, I was going through anxiety and serious headaches, and nobody knew about it. And this lady went to me like, I feel like God's telling me to pray for you, that you're experiencing headaches. And I was like, just dumbfounded. I was like, there was no way she could have known that. I remember her praying for me and just crying, because she didn't know it was obviously God that, you know, told her to pray for me, and that He knew what I was going through. So I feel like from then on, like, that prayer of mine came true, that just by asking God, wishing I could believe and love Him, just came true from that moment.